Global warming is a process where weather patterns and temperatures are changing rapidly and unpredictably on a global scale. Climate change is mainly caused by the growing concentration of heat-trapping gases called greenhouse gases. The increase of these gases is mainly from human activity from the things like deforestation, pollution, and burning fossil fuels. Although the Earth goes through warming and cooling phases, it has never been this rapid or unpredictable, which is what climate change is. And we aren't the only ones who think that humans are causing this.
What is your opinion about whether or not humans affect global warming and climate change?
My opinion, personally?
Yeah.
Yes, I say that's a definite yes. I think humans do affect climate change since the parts per million carbon dioxide in the atmosphere right now is just past 400 parts per million. And it hasn't been that high since, I think, about 14 million years ago.
In modern society, there's a huge amount of CO2 being released into the atmosphere. There are countless factories and automobiles that contribute to the warming of the planet. When the gases are released into the air, they fog the atmosphere and trap heat. If the temperature continues to rise, catastrophic things like major floods, destroying full cities, or major ice caps melting could happen. Also, things like this could happen.
Yeah, do you think it'll get worse?
Well, I think the first thing, one of the things that will happen, the oceans will absorb carbon dioxide, and that in turn makes it more acidic, and it's called carbolic acid, and it'll eat away the shells of a lot of the marine mollusks and other animals, and it will probably break down the food chain.
Through the process of photosynthesis, trees and other plants take in CO2 and give us oxygen in return. This process has been going on for millions of years. But lately, deforestation has been more common in order to get and produce goods. As the CO2 levels rise and the amount of plants worldwide decreases, it doesn't balance out the CO2 and an extremely large amount of heat is being trapped in our atmosphere. So while we cut down trees and forests, we are also cutting down the amount of CO2 being taken out of the air. Since the levels of CO2 are already rising, and on top of that we are cutting down the only things to balance it out, this shows that humans are turbocharging global warming. Some people think that global warming is just a natural occurrence and that since the Earth's temperature has done this before, humans have nothing to do with it. But how can that be true if the CO2 is going up by a lot more than it ever has? It seems like the huge increase of CO2 has brought up the temperature by a lot. They say CO2 doesn't affect temperatures, yet...
And then, do you think the amount of CO2 in the air affects the rising temperature?
Yes. Just look at the planet Venus. They're like 99% carbon dioxide, and they have a surface temperature of around 900 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface of Venus. Yes, it does. Definitely. It's a greenhouse gas.
Also, the people denying that humans did anything to cause global warming are trying to say that at one point the temperature rose before the CO2 levels, so it's not our fault. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the temperature affects the CO2. Because the CO2 was steady until we came along and we put a ton into the air, that is when the temperature shot up. Because of us burning more and more fossil fuels each day, the CO2 and temperatures are skyrocketing. In conclusion, global warming is happening right before our eyes, and even though some people like to pretend it's not there and brush it under the rug, it's a problem that isn't avoidable. We need to start fixing it now, otherwise our planet will not be the healthy and safe place it once was. We need to realize that we are the problem and we can easily be the solution.